Hi everyone and welcome to the Leadership and Management Learning session. In our last session, I introduced the chapter Project Management and I laid out the subtopics that we are expected to cover under this chapter. And in that lesson, I defined the term project. I went ahead to define project management, and I promised that in today's session, we will discuss the project management concepts. Project management concepts. So by the end of this lesson, you should be able to explain various project management concepts, beginning with the concept project. Project. In our last session, we defined the term project. And we also stated that project management, the purpose of project management, we said, is to achieve a successful project completion with the resources that are available to the organization. We also stated that a project is a short-term endeavor. We said this is a temporary endeavor. We also mentioned that a project is a unique process. We stated that a project can be distinguished from the normal operations of an organization. We went ahead to say that a project consists of a set of coordinated and controlled activities with a start and finish dates that are undertaken to achieve an objective conforming to the specific requirements, including the constraints of time, cost, and resources. So that's the first concept of project management, the term or the concept project. We can also discuss the second concept, which is the concept of scope. Project scope. When discussing scope, we can also at the same time discuss the concept of time, scope, time, and budget. These are concepts in project management: scope, time, and budget. Now, candidates, successful completion of a project requires accomplishment of specific goals within scheduled time. Within scheduled time and budget. Time and budget. Time and budget. The completion of a project is dependent upon a specific time and a budget. And it is evident that the scope, the time, and the budget are dimensions that are interrelated and interactive. Any change in any of these parameters, any change in time would affect the scope, any change in budget would affect the time, any change in scope will affect the budget, so they are interrelated. Any change in one of the dimensions would affect the other. For example, if the scope is enlarged, the project would require more time, it would require more financial resources for that project to complete. If a project is to be expanded from the initial plan, then that project will require more time to complete, will require more financial resources to complete. The cost would go up. And if time is reduced, the scope and the cost would also be required to be reduced. If you reduce the time of a project, then the scope has to be reduced, the budget has to be reduced. Likewise, if you are to increase or reduce the budget, that will affect the time and also the scope. Any change in cost would be reflected in the scope and time. So these are concepts in project management. Another concept is the project manager. Project manager. Project managers candidates are assigned the responsibilities to manage a project within a certain time, within a certain budget, and projects within a certain scope. He or she is the person assigned by the performing organization to lead the team that is responsible for achieving the project objectives. And the guidance provided should be useful for building the range of skills appropriate for the effective project management. A project manager is the leader of the team that is tasked with the responsibility of completing a certain project. So projects, we know candidates are initiated by organizations. Projects are not part of the daily operations of an organization. If a company plans to start up a project, for example, opening up a plant abroad for expansion of its operations, that project may have to be assigned to a responsible person who is to ensure that the project is completed within a certain time, scope, and budget. A project manager. So as we progress, candidates, maybe it may be important for me at this stage to maybe outline some of the responsibilities of a project manager. Number 4, the fourth project management concept is project quality. Project quality. Now, what is the meaning of project quality? Project quality, candidates, is simply delivering the project outcomes according to the stated or implied needs and expectations of the project beneficiaries and the donor agency in order to meet stakeholder satisfaction. It may also mean complying with the quality standards that are either mandated by the donor, maybe mandated by the company. If it is a public project, could be that is mandated by the government in accordance to the existing laws. It may be in accordance to the professional standards such as health and so on. So project quality is delivering the project outcomes according to the stated needs and expectations. We, in our first lesson, defined a project. We say that a project is carried out to meet certain objectives. Before a project is initiated, then there has to be the objectives of the project, the deliverables, the outcomes, the expectations, what is required at the end of the project. If it is, for example, a government constructing a bridge, then there has to be defined outcome, the defined result, the desired result. So project quality is meeting that result or outcome, delivering the project outcome to meet the needs or the stated expectations of the project beneficiaries. Project quality. Project management concept number 5 is risk management. Risk management. Candidates, risk is all about uncertainty and the effect of uncertainty on the achievement of project objectives. The objective of risk management is to increase the probability and the impact of to increase the probability or impacts of positive effects and decrease the impact and probability of negative effects or negative events. So successful organizational work may, in relation to project management, may require an understanding of risks so as to ensure that there is successful outcome or successful accomplishment of the project objectives. So risk management is an important concept in project management because projects come or are required to be accomplished at sometimes very high cost. Projects may take time, may take labor, high labor, the scope may be huge, and the investment in projects require that the project's risks are properly managed in order to increase the positive probability of positive events and decrease the probability of occurrence of negative events which may negatively impact the accomplishment of a project. So risk management is a very key project management concept. Number 6, project team and stakeholders. Project team. Project team consists of a group of people who are given the task of handling the project from inception to successful completion. Those who are tasked with the responsibility to ensure the accomplishment or the completion of the project. And teamwork depends on being able to persuade people to work together, to cooperate, and also to be committed to the project. And therefore, project management is the bringing together of individuals and groups in order to form a single cohesive working team towards a common goal. And the project work is just teamwork and is accomplished by a group of people from different functional areas of the organization. We may have people from the technical side of the organization, from the finance department, from the human resource department. We may have people from different areas of operations of the department. So that team is tasked with the purpose or the tasks to ensure that there is project success. So the size and the composition of a project team may depend on the activities that are involved in the project. And that team may be disbanded after the project is completed. So project team is another important concept in project management. Project team. A stakeholder, on the other hand, is any person, any individual, any group, any institution that has a stake or an interest in the project. Any person, any individual, any group of people, any institution that has an interest in the project is known as a stakeholder, stakeholders. And these stakeholders may be negatively or positively affected by the project activities. So stakeholders are all those who need to be considered in achieving project goals and whose participation and support are crucial to the success of the project. So when initiating any project, it's important to consider the interests of all the persons, the individuals, the institutions who may be negatively or positively affected by the project, so that measures can be put in place to mitigate, especially against any people who may be negatively affected, who may resist the project, who may fight the project, and who may cause the project not to be accomplished within the specified period of time. And that we study under what we call management of stakeholders. The stakeholders' interests must be monitored to ensure that, number one, their interests and support is maintained. Number two, their views and ideas are adequately reflected in the project development. Number three, their personal success criteria are pursued and achieved. Number four, environmental change is fully taken into account. And you can also say, number five, that their personal success criteria is pursued and achieved. So when carrying out a project, it's important to consider the interests of those who may be affected by the project, either positively or negatively, and the stakeholders have to be managed. So this is another important project management concept, stakeholders. Number 7, project life cycle. Project life cycle. Project life cycle. Every project from conception to completion passes through various phases which we are calling life cycle. And there are various or several main phases in the project life cycle, which may include the conception phase or the concept phase. There is the planning phase. We have the execution phase. Then there is the close out phase. The close out phase. So there are various phases in the project life cycle, which we will be studying as a subtopic as we move on under the topic project management. So project life cycle is another project management concept. I've said that every project from its conception to its completion passes through various stages or phases. They are called project life cycle. It's a cycle. There are stages within this cycle. Project life cycle. Project management concept number 8, ETC. ETC means that these are not the only project management concepts. Time does not allow me to proceed to point number 8. I will effectively bring the lesson to a close. You can read more project management concepts in our textbook on leadership and management. For now, I'll give you one assignment before we close the lesson. Here is your assignment. Examine 8 project management concepts. Thank you for attending our today's lesson. In our next session, we continue sharing knowledge in leadership and management. Bye-bye.